Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles.
Umar, good morning.
Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason.
Shalom, Boker Tov, starting in just a minute.
Give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot 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 besimcha.
Ali, shalom.
Be the reason someone smiles. 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 Simba gedola, liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot besimcha.
All right. Are we ready? Let's do this.
Breakfast with Elli.
Mode ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechazarta bi nishmati bechemla rabba emunatecha.
In this consumer-centric world, where 2,000 different types of breakfast cereal vie for our attention, it's easy to feel the smug satisfaction of a paid customer. We forget that the transfer of money alone cannot change the truth of our existence. In this week's Parsha, the Torah teaches you will eat, you will be satiated, and you shall bless God your God. In his Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe rules that it is a positive mitzvah from the Torah to bless Hashem, to say grace after meals. He then follows with stating, anyone who benefits from this world without a blessing, it is as if he has partaken of goods consecrated to heaven. After which he cites the iconic words from the Tehillim, the earth and all it contains is God's. Gratitude is an attitude. Humility is a worldview and a lifetime's work. In his vast goodness, Hashem provides us not only with all of our needs, but with plenty of extra pleasures. We need only to remember and acknowledge the boss. It's that
והשם יתברך תמיד אוהב אותי ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב השם יתברך תמיד אוהב אותי ותמיד יהיה לי ויהיה לי עוד יותר טוב ועוד 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 יותר טוב ותמיד יהיה לי רק ויהיה לי
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Ellie. It is season 8, episode 28. It is Monday, the 26th day of Cheshvan, the 17th day of November. The Torah portion is Toldos. HaYom, Yom Sheini, SHABBOS, second day counting up towards Shabbos. We'll be learning the second Aliyah. Good morning. How are you? What's new? What a beautiful day, although it is really windy outside and a little bit overcast. And 41 degrees. Other than that, Zeh HaYom, this is the day that Hashem made. Let us rejoice in it. All right. Oh my goodness, so much to talk about today, and it has to be a little bit of a truncated show because I got to go to Brooklyn, go into regular doctor appointment. Nothing to fear. Nothing's wrong. Thank God. Everything is Baruch Hashem fine. And going to stop off in Crown Heights and meet a friend for lunch. One of our dear supporters, our Patreon supporters, David Wepman. We're going to meet him for a late lunch, early dinner, whatever that is. If you want to meet us, to join us, it could be a party. So we'll be in Brooklyn about 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. Okay? All right. And then we're going to go make a stop by the Jacobsons. Mrs. Jacobson lost her brother last week, so we're going to go pay our condolences, make a Shiva call. We had the privilege last night to go see, thanks to TDF, the Theater Development Fund, we had a privilege to go see Bo, the musical. And yes, I got my pins and my magnets at an off-Broadway musical. Can you imagine? The star, Matt Rodin, whatever it is. He was absolutely tremendous, and all of his co-stars were amazing, as was the always amazing Jeb Brown, who we saw recently in Dead Outlaw. I know. And now he's in an off-Broadway house, but it doesn't matter. It's an amazing production. It's not expensive, so you can go see Bo the musical off-Broadway. Bring tissues. Let me tell you, it's one of those shows. All right, let's start our morning davening. Men and boys, take you to front tzitzis. Everyone else join us in the second bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Al netilat yadayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah uvaravo nikavim nikavim chalulim chalulim galui v'yadua lifnei chisei כבודך שאם יסתם אחד מהם או אם ייפתח אחד מהם אי אפשר להתקיים אפילו שעה אחת ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah. הריני מקבל עלי מצוות עשה של ואהבת לרעך כמוך. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Torah Tziva lanu Moshe.
All right, let's give some tzedakah.
Put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep. Yeah, I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
All right, I've given a little extra tzedakah because I'm going to go see a doctor today, and I always like to hedge my bets. All right, that takes us to the saying of the Shema. Take your right hand and place it over your eyes, please.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Baruch Shem kevod malchuto leolam vaed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
All right. All right, this morning we are drinking water and having cottage cheese. All right, are you ready? We're going to say a bracha shahakol nevertheless. It's the same bracha. Are you ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shahakol nihiyah bidvaroi.
Coffee, blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. I want to taste you in the morning and a few times throughout the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way.
Wow, I do love that. I should have cottage cheese more often because I really do like it. Okay, today in Jewish history. Let me just get this quarter that I dropped over here. All right. Oh, it's a nickel. All right. And I dropped a penny too, but I can't get that right now. Sorry about that. At the behest of King Ferdinand V and Queen Isabella, Pope Sixtus IV issued a bill empowering monarchs to establish an inquisitional tribunal to investigate charges of heresy. I know. In 1478, the Spanish Inquisition, which spread to all Spanish and later Portuguese colonies and possessions, was only disbanded on July 15th, 1834, 1478 to 1834. King Manuel of Portugal decreed this as the final deadline by which time members of the Portuguese community must leave the kingdom in 1497. The first Jewish wedding took place in Argentina in 1860, and the United States Senate rejected the Treaty of Versailles with a vote of 53 to 39. The port of Ashdod opened for business in 1965, and it is the yahrzeit today of Reb Raphael of Hamburg. Reb Raphael was the chief rabbi of the three sister cities, Altona, Hamburg, and Wandsbek, in Germany for 23 years. These three important Jewish centers were known as Achu, after their Hebrew abbreviations, and were the residence of many famous scholars and personalities, such as Rabbi Yonason Eibeshitz, Rabbi Tzvi Ashkenazi, Rabbi Yaakov Emden, and Gluckel of Hamlin. You know about Gluckel of Hamlin? That's a fantastic story. He was a biographer. She was a biographer. A mother, a businesswoman who described the life of the Jews in Germany in the late 17th to 18th centuries. Her son Moshe, who was a well-known rabbi, found the manuscript of his mother's diary and copied it on parchment and preserved it for generations. It serves as a shining example of a pious, good, and wise Jewish woman, a true Em B'Yisrael, a mother in Israel. It's a fantastic story. If you can get yourself to read more about it, I highly recommend it. There is a whole biography of her on Chabad.org today. So if you want to go read that, I, again, highly, highly suggest it. And I'm actually printing out that biography right now to take with me and read while I travel today. All right? Okay. Let us now go to HaYom Yom for today.
HaYom Yom, thoughts for the day, 26th of Mar Cheshvan. The Rebbe once acknowledged the presence of a communal Rav, who responded with self-deprecation that his community could have a better Rav. The Rebbe responded, "So be better." Self-analysis and harsh self-evaluation is useful when it results in change, not for humility. Think you are lowly and crass? Then get to work on your character. Think you are lazy and irresponsible? Get off the couch and help others. Don't tell me, show me.
I'm sure you've had this experience where you have a conversation with somebody who appears to be very caring and benevolent, and the conversation goes something like this. "Oh, did you hear about Mr. So-and-so? He's in such trouble, it's terrible," and there's all sorts of sighs and moans of regret over what a terrible situation that other person is in. And then when you say, "Oh, okay, let's talk about what we can do to help that person," very little interest. Or, "No, I just want to be upset about that person's situation. I don't want to talk about what we can do to help that person." Sighing and moaning is easy. That's not called being caring and benevolent. To be caring and benevolent is to be ready to actually do something to help somebody. Today's HaYom says that principle holds true when somebody else needs help, when you're helping somebody else. But it also holds true when you talk about helping yourself. Let's listen to today's HaYom. The true way, the proper way, is for a person to be honest about his own character. You have to know your strengths, you have to know your good qualities, and you have to know your weaknesses. You have to know your own deficiencies. So you got to know where you stand. And then, once you know where you stand, you got to roll up your sleeves and work on improving yourself. So maybe sighing and moaning and saying, "I wish I was a better person than I am," that might be a good start, but that's not good enough. You can't satisfy yourself with moans. After you moan and sigh and realize that you are not what you should be, the next necessary step is action, to roll up your sleeves and start working on yourself to become a better person.
All right. That makes sense to you? They could get a better one, so be a better one. That's important. And now, a word from our sponsors.
And now, a word from our sponsors. PestProRidall.com.
PestProRidall.com. Trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidall.com.
Tarzan Group. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzangroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565 and order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzangroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign@gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications, logos, wall hangings, Judaica, and you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Ellie when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Helping lots of people any way we can. Tzedakah is the Jewish way to help your fellow man.
Sorry about that. Please forgive me. All right. If you would like to help bring Torah all around the world, all you need to do is scan this handy QR code, and that will take you to breakfastwithelli.live/support, breakfastwithelli.live/support, or you can go to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi. You can get a double mitzvah bringing Torah all around the world. You get a chelek, a portion of their learning credited to you, and you're giving tzedakah, which is the right thing to do. All right, Torah time. Let's go. Come on. I don't know why we're being sticky again today. Bye, princess. All right, we're doing the overview to Parshas Toldos today. Elli Toldos Yaakov. These are the generations, the offspring of Yaakov. All right. We did the name of the Parsha yesterday. The subject of Parshas Toldos is Yitzchak, Avram's heir and successor. Yitzchak was the child of Avram and Sarah's old age, the son for whom they hoped and prayed, waited for decades, on whom they pinned their hopes and their continuing life work, so that their mission of making the world into Hashem's home come not to naught. They made great sacrifices in order to properly groom him for his future role and arrange a suitable match for him so that he in turn could perpetuate the heritage and vision. Yet the picture the Torah presents us of Yitzchak seems in many ways the antithesis of all that we know about his father Avram. True, Yitzchak is no less devoted to carrying out Hashem's will than is Avram, and even prepared to sacrifice his life without hesitation at God's behest. But the Torah's account of Yitzchak's life, we see no expansion of his father's great undertaking of educating humanity, no new branches of the family. Unlike Avram, Yitzchak fights no great battles, hardly mingles in world affairs, never leaves the confines of the Holy Land, takes no additional wives or handmaids in order to enlarge his immediate family beyond the 2 children born to him from one wife. He seems content to passively let life unfold around him. He's much more passively acted upon by events and circumstances than actually initiating them. In fact, Yitzchak's life is so bereft of activity that although he lived the longest of the patriarchs, he's the subject of only one parsha, in contrast with Avram and Sarah's 3 and Yaakov's 6. The one and only active undertaking the Torah relates regarding Yitzchak is he dug wells. Is this, of all things, the only achievement of the illustrious heir to Avram's legacy? Is this all he is capable of? On the other hand, Torah records no hint that anyone, not Avram, not even God himself, was in any way dissatisfied by Yitzchak's apparent passivity. There seems to be a tacit understanding that Yitzchak was doing what he was supposed to be doing. Quietly, without fanfare, he continued his father's enterprise, not by emulating his father's behavior, but by taking it to the next higher level. Yitzchak understood, and in all likelihood so did Avram, that as revolutionary and necessary Avram's work was, it was by nature a limited effect, had by nature a limited effect. Avram's method of disseminating divine consciousness was to spread it to everyone, to reach the widest possible audience by making no prior demands on his listeners. This was really the only way he could succeed in publicizing his message. For since the world was not yet interested in what he had to say, stipulating conditions would have unnecessarily limited his influence. The disadvantage of this approach was that by not requiring any preparatory work from his audience, Avram did not affect any permanent change in them. And we're going to stop there for today. In the second Aliyah, Yitzchak settled in Plishtim, Philistine. When the townspeople inquired regarding his wife, he told them she was his sister. Sound familiar? Fearing that otherwise the Plishtim would kill him in order to take Rivka. Eventually, Avimelech, Melech HaPlishtim, the king of the Philistines, noticed that Rivka was Yitzchak's wife and though he reprimanded Yitzchak, he issued a decree that no one touched them. So, while living in Plishtim, Yitzchak sowed crops and miraculously harvested 100 times more than the normal yield. All right, and that's going to take us to Chumash and Rashi with Rabbi Avtson. Here's today's portion, The Wife Who's My Sister. Come on. Give me a scene change, boys and girls. There we go.
Jewish audio on Chabad.org.
The second Aliyah of Toldos is short, straight to the point. It talks about how, as we mentioned yesterday, there's a famine, so Yitzchak has to go leave the area where he was living, in Chevron, and he travels. Hashem says, don't go to Egypt, stay in Gerar, which is part of the wider Israel. He settles in Gerar. And replay of his mom's story and dad. Who is this woman with you? She's my sister. Because he was afraid to say she's my wife. That might kill me because of her, because she was good looking. Well, days pass. The king did not abduct Rivka. Pretty decent fellow, unlike the previous times. And the king was Avimelech. It seems a different Avimelech. All the kings of Gerar were called Avimelech, unless it was the same Avimelech as Avraham. After Isaac has already been there for a long time, he decided he no longer has to be secretive and make believe. So Avimelech, the king of Philistines, looks out the window and he sees Isaac gladdening his wife, some form of marital intimacy. I'm not sure what he saw, but the point is he was able to tell from the way the two of them were behaving that this wasn't a brother and sister, but rather a married couple. Avimelech summons Isaac and says, really, she is your wife. How could you say she was my sister? And Isaac says the good old response, I thought I would die because of her. Avimelech said, what have you done to us? I, the most preeminent amongst the people, could easily have had relations with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us. Avimelech issued an order, nobody lay a finger on this man or his wife. If they do, they'll be surely put to death. Isaac sowed grains in the region that year. Now, it wasn't a particularly fertile area, and it was a year of famine, so he expected a small yield. Nonetheless, he reaped 100-fold more than he expected. God blessed him. Furthermore, when they calculated the yield for the purpose of taking tithes, they found it had miraculously increased 100-fold again in the merit of intention to tithe it, for Hashem had blessed him. So an interesting pattern we find between Avram and Yitzchak, even though such different personalities, similar stories with their wives, and similar economic, financial success, both of them people of the world, and both of them blessed by Hashem. Now, it's worth exploring, how did Yitzchak have marital relations with his wife in public? So there's various opinions. The Chizkuni offers and says, the Chizkuni saying that the window was closed, which meant that Avimelech says, okay, that's a sign that something private was going on based on the way people behaved at the time. There's other opinions. A lot of the commentaries are exploring how in the world was it possible that Yitzchak would be intimate by day. Seemingly it's unbefitting, and it's actually quite discussed in various commentaries. And the basic theme is that obviously if somebody closes the window and closes the blinds and the room is not so bright, then a couple can be intimate, which is interesting because if it was by night, Avimelech wouldn't have seen anything. So he obviously saw something going on by day.
All right. All right. Parsha Points with Rabbi Epstein is up next. Are you ready?
Parsha Points for Toldos, Sunday. You seemingly can't get two more diverse people than Abraham and Yitzchak. I mean, Abraham, born to idolatrous parents, lifetime of travel and adventure, drama, direct communication from Hashem, and his son Yitzchak is born into righteousness, ensconced in divine protection and security. Yet, Abraham gives us Yitzchak. Yitzchak comes from Abraham. Healthy character begets difference. That descent, that stage 2, look, we're all beneficiaries of history, and we are obligated to add to it. Parsha Points, Toldos for Monday. Want the blessing of wealth? Got your attention now. Who doesn't want that blessing? Give tzedakah. Here it comes, the old fundraising appeal. It's something far more meaningful than that. Tzedakah not only evokes great divine blessings, as it does for Yitzchak, even during famine times. Tzedakah is the ultimate governor of irresponsible spending. When I'm focused on money's value and helping other people, I am restrained from making inappropriate, indulgent purchases. Tzedakah, get rich by being righteous.
Hello, Chevra. Today is Yom Sheini. And in today's Aliyah of Shnayim Yomi, we read the story of Avimelech, Yitzchak, and Rivka. Avimelech thinks that Yitzchak and Rivka are brother and sister. And if so, Rivka's available. And then, after seeing Yitzchak is mitzachek with Rivka, he's intimate with Rivka, he wants nothing to do with a married Rivka. But let's stop for a moment and understand who Yitzchak is. Yitzchak is an expression of tzchaik, of laughter. And during his most intimate moments, it is mitzachek. It's an expression of tzchaik. There it is again. And yet, we know that Yitzchak and who he signifies and who he symbolizes and represents is anything but laughter. Yitzchak, who was brought as a korban. Yitzchak, who represents din. Yitzchak, who represents harshness of judgment. The Gemara in Zvachim tells us that if you want to know where the Hamariyah is, look for the Efer Shel Yitzchak, the ashes of Yitzchak. Although Yitzchak was not brought as a korban in this realm, but in certain realms he was. So is Yitzchak Yira? Is he din? Or is he laughter? And the answer is really both. Because one cannot be true without the other. The Tanakh of Elli says 6 magnificent words. He says, Yoresi mitoich simchasi, somachti mitoich yirasi. I feared within my joy, and I was joyous within my fear. Simcha does not mean fun. It doesn't mean walking around singing and dancing, although it's important to have external happiness every day. Rather, simcha means a deep-rooted joy, an understanding a purpose that we have in this world. And purpose brings us joy. It is because Yitzchak has stepped on the threshold of death, because he understands what's at stake, that he's able to experience true joy, true purpose and meaning in his life. True happiness. It's only because Yitzchak is Yira that he's able to express Simcha. We live in a world where there's a lot of yira. There's harshness of judgment, there's difficulty and challenges. But if we understand that we're here for a purpose, then the tiny victories in life will bring us great joy because we know we're here to serve Hashem. And that's the highest madrega. Not a yiras ha'inish, not a fear of punishment, but a yiras ha'roimamus, to understand the exaltedness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the privilege that we are able to serve Him. Yes, mitoich din and mitoich simcha, through both. Have a great day.
Fantastic. Parsha in a minute.
Welcome back to Parsha in a minute. In today's Chumash, Yitzchak plants during a time where there was a famine. He plants in a land where produce is not supposed to be growing out of. Yet nevertheless, Yitzchak's produce grew a tremendous amount, despite these circumstances not making sense. When Hashem wants to give a person blessings, there's nothing in the world that can stop Hashem from granting those blessings. Hashem takes care of us. Hashem gives you what you need in the right time. You don't need to come up with all different schemes of how to make money, of how to cheat the system, because whatever you're meant to have, Hashem will find a way to give it to you. So sit back, relax, live a life of Torah, live a life of mitzvahs, and watch the blessings roll in.
I love that advice. All right, and we are now going to go to Rabbi Zilberstein because we're running a little short on time for the day. Okay?
A picture is worth more than 1,000 words. But what happens when a picture is more than 6,500 words or hats? How do you relate to that? So I want to share with you some thoughts, some reflections. But before we do this, let us say thank you to God for all His miracles. And the miracle of this past Shabbos, being in presence of 6,500 world leaders. That's a great miracle. So Mizbah l'soid orila adonai kol haaretz ivdus adonai b'simcha. Boi lefanav b'nana d'uka adonai elim hu asanu v'lo anachna v'tzor marisai. Boi yishoru b'soid ha'chatzoresi b'silo hoidu lebachu shemoi. Ki tov adonai le'olam chazdoi v'yadoi v'doi emunasoi. Please, my friends, where I'm sitting, I don't have a pushka. I apologize. Please, if you can put in something in the pushka for me too. And let us all together express the prayer of seeing not 6,500 black hats, but seeing all of Klal Yisrael together in the ultimate redemption in the Beis HaMikdash, with the Rebbe leading us into it. This statement that the picture is more than 1,000 words, you know what? Has Talmudic background. There's an expression in the Talmud that says, you cannot compare seeing, or rather, you cannot compare hearing to seeing. Seeing is much more powerful. Seeing is much more impactful than hearing. In fact, there's a halacha that says that if a person who had witnessed something, witnessed an event, cannot judge on it, assuming a person witnessed that A made an accident with B. His car banged into the car of B. Now B claims it has happened, A says it didn't happen, so on, back and forth. The person who saw it cannot judge on it. Why? Because the fact that he saw it is impartial. Nothing will make him change his mind. And the judge has to be able to be objective, to be able to see the both sides of the coin. So seeing is reaching my entire being, so to say. When God gave us the Ten Commandments, He revealed Himself. It wasn't just a message, a class, an idea that we heard. It's an experience. It's a complete, permeating experience. I'm saying all this, spending a whole Shabbos, starting before Shabbos, Friday and Thursday, with thousands and thousands of the Rebbe Shluchim. Let's call them colleagues, young and old. Those have been in Shlichus longer than I was, those have been in Shlichus less than me, all together. Hearing all kinds of workshops, hearing all kinds of experiences, and it's impressive. It's impressive. When you hear how young couples just went out on Shlichus a year ago, are already leading classes with tens of people, or sitting in the vigil with the Jew that has been on the other side of the world, lost completely, has already generations not known that he's even Jewish, and suddenly, wake-up call came. All these are extremely, extremely impressive concepts, encouraging realities. When the Rebbe said in 1951, in his first inaugural speech, Verbringen, the time is now that we have to conquer the world. Where Chassidim taught, the Rebbe is talking about a few more blocks on around Eastern Parkway. And it's not about Eastern Parkway. Yes, it's coming out of Eastern Parkway. But the world, remember the song, We the World? Whoever made that song was wrong. We the world, those shluchim, those 6,500 plus, quote unquote, black hats and their wives, their Rebbitzins. This is the world. They lead the entire world. So when you hear these amazing accomplishments, but nothing is compared to actually seeing, looking at this picture, and you see the sea of the black hats, and you might think, oh, they're all identical. These are 6,500 individuals using their individual talents, their individual capability, but to bring out a common message, the message of love for every Jew, the message of preparing the world to welcome Mashiach. And all this coming from the strength of the Mishaleach, of the Rebbe, who sent us, and who gives us the strength today, and whom we're going to greet any moment now in the
All right, it's not Chazak. I don't know why it did that. All right, we're going to say some Tehillim now. Get out your book of Psalms. Book of Psalms. We're going to do chapters 23 and 124.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי, לא אחסר, בינוס תשע, ירביצני, על מי מנוחוס ינהלני, נפשי שובב, ינחני ומעגלי צדק, למען שמו, גם כי לך בגץ על מובס, לא ירא, כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני, תערוך לפניי שולחן נגד צורריי, תשענת ושמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני, כל ימי חיי ושבתי בביס אדוני לאורך ימים.
Excuse me. All right, Tanya, thoughts for the day. Are you ready? Here we go.
Tanya thoughts for the 26th of Mar Cheshvan. You know the saying, give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you'll never see him on the weekends again. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. Look, we're all for every individual doing every mitzvah they can. There's something distinctive about empowering others to do the mitzvahs they can. This is perhaps the Rebbe's message, not to make others serve Hashem, observe mitzvahs, rather to empower each individual to discover his innate godliness. It's who he already is. He just forgot.
Let's talk Tanya for the 25th of Cheshvan of a leap year. Today we start and conclude chapter 32 of Igeres HaKodesh, which is the last chapter of Igeres HaKodesh. And like many letters beforehand, this also is a letter about charity, but there's an interesting twist over here. In this letter, the Alter Rebbe is not so much talking about the people who give charity. The Alter Rebbe is expressing his satisfaction, the good news that he received, that there is a system in place in all the Chassidic communities, and in every Chassidic community there is a Gabbai Tzedakah, a fundraiser, someone who's in charge of raising the money from the Chassidim in that city, and then transferring that money to the messenger of the Alter Rebbe, who would then take that money to Israel, to the poor Chassidim in Israel. And the Alter Rebbe points to a Gemara. The Gemara says something interesting. The Gemara says, Gadol ha'ma'asa yoser min ha'oisa, which means that the one who inspires and influences others to give tzedakah is actually greater than the one who gives tzedakah, which is interesting. You know, we always say we have dinners and we have honorees, and who do we honor? The ones who are the donors, the largest donors. But based on this Gemara, it would seem that maybe this is a little misplaced, because the one who receives the greatest, who's worthy of the greatest honor, and the greatest chus, the greatest merit, actually is the fundraiser, the one who inspires, the one who speaks to others and convinces them to give tzedakah, and that is the Gabbai Tzedakah. The Gabbai, the one in charge of the fund in every single city. The Alter Rebbe was talking about the greatness of that person. In terms of Kabbalah, because we know that's where the Alter Rebbe almost always ends up, the Alter Rebbe says, we've learned earlier on in Tanya, actually the Alter Rebbe talks about it in the letter that he sent the year before he sent this letter, that we know when Mashiach comes, we are going to have the revelation of the infinite light of God over here in this world. And the keli, the vessel, the container for that infinite light is tzedakah. And that container is made anytime someone gives tzedakah, regardless whether the person is self-inspired, regardless of whether the person was inspired by others, that container is created through tzedakah. But that's the container. Who actually causes the flow of the infinite light from above? That is not the one who's inspired by someone else, but the people who are self-inspired to give tzedakah, and the people who inspire others to give tzedakah, the Gabbai tzedakah. These are people who they wake up in the morning and they say the Shema, and they say, V'yahavta Hashem Elokecha, we must love God, b'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha, with all our heart, with all our soul, u'v'chol ma'idecha, I love God so much, I'm also willing to give him my money. And therefore, they are self-inspired to give tzedakah. These are the people, not only are they creating a container for the infinite light of God, they're actually drawing down the infinite light of God, which will be revealed over here in this world when Mashiach comes. Interesting. With this, we conclude Igeres HaKodesh. So here we had many letters. If I recall correctly, I think there are 15 out of the 32 chapters in Igeres HaKodesh are letters about tzedakah. And the very last letter is not about giving tzedakah, but about inspiring others to give tzedakah and being self-inspired to give tzedakah. And you have to wonder if perhaps the message over here is the Alter Rebbe, many letters on tzedakah, but then the last letter is, guys, I inspired you a lot, and now it's time for you to be self-inspired and for you to inspire others also to give tzedakah. Mazel tov. With this, we have finished Igeres HaKodesh, the fourth part of Tanya. In tomorrow's Tanya, we begin the fifth and last part of Tanya, known as Kuntras Achrein.
No, it's not impossible that Rebbe did say, just study Rambam each and every day. I'll never miss my daily Rambam. My Rebbe so desires, I'm not busy or too tired. When I learn Rambam connected, I remain. I am a link in the Rebbe's golden chain.
Are you ready? Rambam Mitzvah Minute, class number 261.
In our continued discussion about the laws of neighbors in the context of positive mitzvah 236 about damaging our fellow, let's talk today about another law which relates to ownership of property, which is called chazakah. Now, unlike the chazakah which we've discussed in the past, which is a method of acquisition by manually doing something to real estate, this chazakah is to be understood in a different context, paraphrased as presumptive ownership. The Torah understands that people do not hold on to their bills of sale of a property for an extended period of time, and therefore says that if a person can produce witnesses that he has been in a property for 3 years consecutively and nobody has contested this ownership, after 3 years he no longer needs to produce a deed of sale when his ownership is challenged. He simply needs to bring these witnesses that saw him here for 3 years, and that gives him a presumptive ownership. He is presumed to be the owner of this piece of land.
Baruch Hashem, it is day number 261 of our daily study of Rambam Sefer HaMitzvahs, and in the 3 chapters a day study track of Mishnah Torah, we are still in Hilchas Ritzeach U'Shmiras HaNefesh, that's laws of murder and protecting your personal safety, chapters 8, 9, and 10. And here are our mitzvahs for today. Positive commandment 181 is the Egla Rufa, which literally translated means the decapitated calf. But that doesn't really help you unless you know exactly what it's referring to. It's a whole ceremony, a procedure, a ritual that was performed under very specific circumstances. If, God forbid, there was a murder victim, a slain corpse found lying in the field between two settled areas, meaning found in an unincorporated area. And we don't know who the murderer is. It's not known. So it was a mitzvah to establish what is the closest city. And by the way, even if it was obvious what the closest city was, it was still a mitzvah to do a procedure of measuring, and that was actually done by members of the High Court from Yerushalayim, from the Sanhedrin. The High Court in Yerushalayim would come do that measuring. And then elders from the closest city would perform a ritual where they would slaughter a calf, a young cow, in a stream known as a Nachal Eson. And this procedure would be a proclamation. In fact, they would actually verbally say that we did not send this murder victim out from our town without proper provisions, thereby obtaining atonement for the town where the murder victim originated from, or not necessarily where he lived, but where he had last been before he entered this unincorporated area where, unfortunately, he met his demise. The ritual seems shocking. Why is this animal slaughtered, and specifically in the way that it's slaughtered? It's not shchita, it's not ritual slaughter like we use for consuming kosher meat or for sacrifices in the temple. We said a decapitated calf. They used a hatchet and they hit the calf from behind. What's the purpose of this? Well, first of all, the mitzvahs are Hashem's will, so it's not always possible to align our limited human thinking with the reasons for a mitzvah. However, I'll share with you one explanation from the Rambam, not from the Mishnah Torah or from the Sefer HaMitzvahs, but from another work, the Meirah HaNevuchim, which is the Guide for the Perplexed, which is a very different style of work. But over there, the Rambam speaks about this mitzvah, and he says that, you hear this ritual and it sounds so, shocking. And the Rambam says, yeah, that's the point, because there's a murderer at large. Remember, this is in the case where we don't know who the murderer is. And the ceremony itself will generate publicity and outrage and hopefully help that the murder is solved. Okay. Negative commandment 309 is the prohibition against working the land near the Nachal Eson. I told you in the previous mitzvah, the Nachal Eson is the stream where they performed this
ceremony. It became prohibited afterwards to use the land in any productive way, not to use it for agriculture or anything useful after the procedure had been performed. And there's a symbolism to this, that because this person was murdered and now he can no longer be productive, so then this is put on display by, first of all, by taking the life of the calf, which displays that, but also by leaving that area where the procedure is performed, to leave that as an unproductive place. And it's a reminder that this person's productivity was robbed from him. Okay, now, negative commandment 298. This is a different topic. This is not about Egla Rufa anymore, but it's on the topic of, you remember the name of these halachas is Reitzeach Ushmiras HaNefesh. So the Reitzeach part means murder. Shmiras HaNefesh means looking after personal safety. So the Rambam puts mitzvahs that have to do with personal safety over here. This is not dealing with murder or even with manslaughter, which we touched upon in previous days, but this is just personal safety stuff. Okay, negative commandment 298 is not to allow something dangerous in your property, whether that means in your personal property, your home, or a community has a responsibility to remove from their city any dangerous snare or pitfall or something that a person could get hurt upon. Positive commandment 184 is sort of a corollary to that, and that is the positive commandment to actively remove any dangers. And the source of this mitzvah is in the verse which describes the building of a guardrail called a micah.
When a person is called to the Torah, it's an Aliyah, an elevation
of his
whole.
That it's not limited to simply building the guardrail around if someone has a roof where people could walk and they could fall off of that roof, God forbid, so there has to be a guardrail around the roof. But it's a general commandment to remedy any situation that could be a danger to people's safety. Okay, those are our mitzvahs for today. We will see you tomorrow for more, God willing, and we are going to be completing these laws, and with that, the entire Sefer Nezikin. So we'll see you then, God willing.
All right. I don't know what happened to the Mashiach title card isn't playing. All right, let's do it. Come on. Here we go. All right. We are doing the 26th day of Cheshvan today. Hashem only asks us to do what we are able to do according to the Medrash Tanchuma. Since every one of us will be redeemed from Golus, exile, it is understood that we must all have a part in bringing the Geula. Furthermore, Hashem gives each of us the necessary abilities, and we must be certain that our efforts will bring Mashiach. No one is exempt. Every single one of us, man, woman, and child, must do all that they can to bring Mashiach now. Mamash. Here's Shmuel Tzvi.
We know that one deed has the power to bring the redemption. The Holy Rambam explains to us that we have to see ourselves like we're always on a scale, at the edge, that one deed, 50-50, our deeds are equal, good and negative, and that one extra good deed we do can be enough to bring the final redemption. We have to see ourselves in that light for every action, and then we'll never underestimate an action again. God bless you all.
So let us greet him and come back home, finally home in the place where we belong. It's been so long that we've been gone, so lost and alone, scattered all across the globe.
All right, bringing some heaven down to earth, bringing some heaven down to earth. You've got an ego, so do good with all of your ego. Say, I need to make this happen. Say, I have to see this done. Not only is this ego permissible, it's crucial to your life's mission. So when does an ego become evil? When it believes that it is your mission in life. Oh, I like that. All right. Let's talk more about it on social media. Come to me, any of the Actors Rabbis groups at Blue Sky, Clubhouse, Discord, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube. Email me at theactorsrabbi@gmail.com or go to theactorsrabbi.com and sign up for life coaching service or other services that we have there. And then go to breakfastwithelli.live/mail, breakfastwithelli.live/mail, and you can get your very own copy of Shabbos with Elli for whatever you want to pay for it. You want to pay nothing? If that's what it's worth to you, no problem. But go and get it today, all right? Because it goes out on Thursdays. This week's is almost ready already. All right? Let's make an after bracha. I'm so glad so many of you are here today. All right, let's make an after bracha.
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam boirei nefashos rabois v'chesronan al kol ma sheborasa lachayos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch chai ha'olamim.
All right. Wow. Thank you for being here. Listen, before we go, I just wanted to take a minute. We are 28 days away from Hanukkah. What is it? 28 days away from Hanukkah. So we have to start learning about Hanukkah. 30 days before the holiday, we start learning. And we've been learning for the last couple of days. When is the menorah lit? That's a very important thing. Now, Hanukkah is all about the rededication, the Chanukah Habayit, the 8-day festival of lights that takes place by lighting a menorah every night, reciting special prayers, eating fried foods because of the oil. The word Chanukah means dedication in Hebrew, and the festival commemorates the rededication of the Holy Temple over 2,000 years ago by the Maccabees. Now, the menorah representing Hanukkah is lit in the evening, preceding each of the 8 days of Hanukkah. You remember, the Jewish holidays start at night. So beginning with Sunday night, December 4th, we light one candle. Who lights the menorah? Well, obviously the mitzvah is both men and women to participate in a household menorah lighting as well. Children should be encouraged to light their own menorahs. Students and singles who live in dormitories or in their own apartments should light their own menorah in their own rooms. Now, many have the custom to place the menorah in a doorway opposite the mezuzah, so you are surrounded by mezuzahs, and that is the custom of Chabad. Others place it on a windowsill, placing a public thoroughfare. If placed on the windowsill, it should be no higher than 20 cubits, about 29 feet above street level. In Israel, they put it in a glass enclosure outside. Many people do that. Some people put it on a window facing a balcony, so it faces out where people in the courtyard can see it. If you're not sure where to place your mezuzah, your menorah, contact me and I will help you. Now make sure that your menorah is on a sturdy, fireproof surface. I always put it on a tray surrounded by tinfoil that's out of the reach of children and not near curtains or other flammable materials. And we will talk more about setting up the menorah tomorrow, God willing. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you to my Patreon sponsors, Pespo Riddle, Tarzan Orchids, Dina D Design, Bracha Biederman, Reza Musavi, Wendy Cohen, David Wetman, and our anonymous donor. Now, if you want to be one of our Patreon donors, go to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or our virtual tip jar at breakfastwithelli.live/tip-jar, or scan the handy QR code that you see right here on your screen. And you can not only give tzedakah, but you can help bring Torah all around the world. And all we use this money for is paying our expenses. I'm not taking a salary. I just got to pay. We got a huge bill coming up tomorrow. We've got to pay for the software. The eCam software. It's a yearly subscription, and it's several $100s. And we also need to pay for Restream, which allows me to stream to all these services at once. And we have to pay our renewal to Dropbox. So we have to come up with about $1,000 more. About $1,500 in the next 3 days. So please, if you can donate, whatever you can donate is really appreciated. We've been doing this for 8 years now, and it's all come out of our pockets. And what donations we have gotten from our Patreon sponsors and the occasional person that gives us a beautiful tip. And you all may be blessed 1,000-fold of what you give for this. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Go out and do something nice, something good for someone today. In the words of Rabbi Isaac Halmer, have affection for a fellow, Hashem will have affection for you. Do a kindness for a fellow, Hashem will do a kindness for you. Draw a fellow close, Hashem will draw you close to him. You should go out and make it a great and glorious day. Be the reason someone smiles. And I thank you so much. Benny Friedman and his group, Rabbi Yeshua Omer, Rabbi Joshua says, and this is in honor of the yahrzeit of my dear departed friend, Rabbi Yeshua Binyamin Gordon, Rabbi Josh Gordon, who I had the privilege of spending his first Shabbos ever in Los Angeles with, in the San Fernando Valley. I also had the privilege of being by the birth of many of his children. And it was his Chabad house that I walked almost 3 miles to every Shabbos when I was a teenager. So this is a beautiful, beautiful song. Enjoy this, and we will see you, God willing, tomorrow. Remember, if you're in Brooklyn later this afternoon, look me up. We're going to be in Crown Heights having an early dinner, late lunch, early dinner. Okay? All right. See you tomorrow. God love you all. Bye-bye.
To succeed, you need 2 things. Number 1, you need to make a decision to work hard, to get up very early in the morning and pound the pavement. But that's not enough. Sheyachlit labed b'meretz, with alacrity, u'b'bitochen chazak, and with tremendous faith and trust.
V'ha'ikir sheyachlit labed b'meretz u'b'bitochen chazak. Askir alatzi. Askir alatzi.
Hu avinu,
tate vetelfen zicher hu malkeinu unser König ist größer von Welt Elokeinu der Beschäfer wird helfen sicher Moishienu Yoishienu der Beschäfer für doch die Welt Bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo bitoch in Chozo der Bishuoi bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo Yeshua is boye bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo der Bishuoi bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo Yeshua is boye
The merit with alacrity. Open the top and with tremendous faith and trust.
Hu avinu unser Tate wird helfen sicher Hu malkeinu unser König ist größer von Welt Elokeinu der Beschäfer wird helfen sicher Moishienu Yoishienu der Beschäfer für doch die Welt Bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo der Bishuoi bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo Yeshua is boye bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo der Bishuoi bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo Yeshua is boye
Hustle, move on, hustle.
You got to hustle, you got to hustle, move on, muscle, meret bitoch doi Hustle, you got to hustle, you got to hustle, move on, muscle, wie was it
Hustle, move on, hustle.
Bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo der Bishuoi bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo Yeshua is boye bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo der Bishuoi bitoich meret zu bitoch in Chozo Yeshua is boye
They are magical words of success or failure in life.
Produced by Sruly Meyer. Yep, that's my son.
Shabuvani, 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 Shabuvani likulam. Shabuvani likulam. Shabuvani, Shabuvani, Shabuvani likulam. Shabuvani likulam. Shabuvani, Shabuvani, Shabuvani